Buenos dias, family. I'm headed into my job. I'm working as an ICU nurse in a hospital in the town next to me. And, well, maybe it's like 2 towns over. It takes me a little bit to get to work, and so talking with you actually helps me stay alert and kind of just get mentally ready to start taking care of these patients throughout the day. So thank you for this opportunity, and I've been kind of just going through a little bit. I was talking to my mom this morning because she's gonna go and get her blood drawn and some other things, and so it was like we were just praying to make sure that complications and anything that could go uncomfortably for her, that they don't, and that God is with her. But I was just thinking, I'm like, do you feel like life ever happens so quickly and like you don't get a chance to like recharge because things out of your control are happening? I feel like that's been me lately. Is I definitely feel like I haven't been able to recharge the way that I like to. And some of it's like a really big blessing. I'm gearing up to submit something. I want to tell you about it so bad, but I also need to keep it a surprise for now. But this could be huge because I've never done this before. But I've published some books before, and you can find those in the description box of this video. But I've written most recently about the weight loss system that I found that actually works. And it's very simple. And then the book before that was about healing your gut. So make sure to check those out, because in those books, those are the things that I tried everything. And then I've noticed that other people are talking about how they've tried everything. And these methods are so helpful for some of these people that are trying everything and nothing works for them. So keep that in mind. Check them out if you're identifying with that statement, because it's just, life is too short to like keep struggling and like go over and around to the block so many times with the same struggles. So ultimately, I just had to pray to God one day, and I had to ask, Lord, you need to show me the way, because all these ways that I'm hearing about, I have not found success, and I need to solve this problem. And I've had a lot of problems, just like I'm sure you do and are encountering. So it's like, we need to find these solutions to our problems. But yes, I don't feel particularly recharged, and so I'm a little bit concerned going into work for 2 days to kind of care for these patients. But I mean, since when does life happen at the pace that you want and is perfect for you? That's like not a thing. I feel like, I think sometimes it does, and other times it's just a little bit off from what would be your deemed perfection, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. But I've done what I can. I've cooked myself some really nourishing meals. What I'm eating for the next few days is whole foods, things like eggs. I actually met with my very own nutritionist. Me being a holistic health coach and nutritionist, certified nutritionist through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, has given me so much insight in how to eat for my wellness, and that's how I help my clients. But sometimes you have an individual concern that seems to be stubborn, and so I wanted to pick somebody's brain about how to solve that. And I just had this feeling that I was gonna get a solution from going to this dietitian, and we'll see. I'm gonna implement the things that she said. She gave me some new ideas to try. She thinks that part of what's going on with me is I have a B vitamin methylation issue, which I've heard is pretty common. So I just haven't heard of it too much in the medical community, because my first training is in nursing, And then I've heard about methylation a lot in the holistic side of things and almost like the functional medicine community. So this year I'm going to be focusing more on functional medicine. I'm going to be testing my gut microbiome, and if I need to, if things don't correct from these simple shifts that I'm making that I know will be supportive, if they don't correct, I will probably get some functional lab testing and invest in that. I did have that before, and that was very helpful at the time. I was coming off of a certain therapy, and my heavy metal levels were elevated, and it was causing a big problem for my cellular energy. The ATP production, I believe, is what was it was decreased. My cells were struggling to kick out energy. So once that corrected, I started to become very passionate about fixing certain things that the medical community that I work in doesn't always take very seriously. They just kind of write it off as like, this is how it is. They'll look at everything that they can, but if nothing really makes sense, they kind of just start to write you off as like, this is a mental health issue, this is a psychosocial issue, maybe going to see a therapist would be the next option, and then next thing you know, you're on medication for your mind, which if you do have an imbalance like a gut microbiome issue or a heavy metal toxicity or even like a methylation issue, right, for B vitamins, then that's not even going to help you. That's going to be like a band-aid that will just serve as like it may help you for a little bit, but then honestly, you're not going to feel your best very long. You're not going to feel great for very long. And I can tell you this because I also walked through that too. I was put on some mental health medication in my 20s, and it helped for a little while. I felt better until I didn't. And that was because my gut microbiome was off. And what I'm learning more and more as I am a continuous student, I am learning that when your gut microbes aren't how they should be, when your microbiome is out of balance, your B vitamins are probably out of balance too, because gut microbes, they actually synthesize some B vitamins and some vitamin K. So you're missing some of your nutrients. You can be. And so of course, that explains part of why you feel exhausted, if it is the source. And that's why a lot of people, they start to feel their energy come back when they start to take care of their gut microbiome and start to bring those good bacteria back in, take care of the lining, because it's not just about the gut bacteria, it's about the integrity of the lining as well. So if you have, and what I mean by that is if you have leakiness or almost like gaps, like think about Swiss cheese or space in between items, your cells actually, and this is actually really normal to have a little bit of leaky gut, pretty much waxing and waning. You might notice when you get stressed out, your stomach starts to feel really upset and distressed, or you feel depressed, anxious, low energy, bloated even. Your gut is affected by that, and it may be that your gut is a little bit leaky at the time. It will seal up again if you do the right steps. But this is one of the things that when people are in chronic stress and fight or flight, and they can't get out of it, their stressful situation persists, or they're eating the foods that inflame their gut and they're stressed out. This is where we really run into that chronic bloating and issues with dysbiosis, because your gut can't correct without the right steps in place. And that's exactly why I wrote my books and created the program that I help people with to restore their gut. And it's really rewarding to walk through healing, because you feel it's almost like a blindfold is lifted off of your eyes, like you can finally see again. And it's just a beautiful thing. You have so much energy, and yeah, if that's you and you're watching this, I just pray that you find your solution. And you're gonna get there. You are gonna get there if you don't give up. because it can be isolating when all the doctors are telling you nothing's wrong with you and your family's confused and they don't know what to say. They're usually saying the wrong stuff to you. It can be hard. Yeah. Yes, but with the gut leaking and your microbiome not really being up to par, your energy levels can tank, and you can get that brain fog and lack of clarity. It's connected to your gut. I recently saw a video kind of pop off on YouTube, and I was so excited for her because I was like, that is so true. She was talking about how gut health is related to finances, and I was like, absolutely it is. You can be stuck like making low income. You can be stuck in a certain income bracket for the whole reason that you just don't have the energy to create and bring a new way out of that situation, just because you're so tired all the time and you're not connected as sharply to your intuition. And it's my belief that the Holy Spirit, you cannot hear God's voice and understand God's voice as easily when your gut is out of balance. And that goes for like health concerns and stuff like that. A lot of times I feel like it dulls our ability to perceive and understand and hear, just like comprehend what God is trying to communicate to us and get through to us. So that's one of the huge important reasons why I make these videos, is because it's important, it's paramount that we do hear God's voice. And healing our body, getting healthy, only improves that. And there's a really good place for Western medicine, hospital medicine. I am going to be so glad if one of my family members ever needs anything like this, that it exists. But I don't want to rely on it 100% because I know it doesn't acknowledge gut stuff. It doesn't acknowledge this heavy metal stuff, and that is actually really important as well. So we really do need both. We need the functional side and we need the Western side, the modern side of medicine. We need it all to be completely put together, I think. The nutritionist was telling me she doesn't think that I have any leaky gut. Even though I did go through a stressful situation a couple weeks ago, I was noticing that I could eat a certain type of bar. It was like an energy bar, for example. I could eat that, and then once the stressful situation hit, I was reacting to it. I was starting to get like rashes. And my theory on that is, if your gut is actually leaky and you've got some space, the tight junctions aren't tight anymore, then proteins can leak out and your immune system starts to attack them and develop an inflammatory response, just for things that really shouldn't be leaking out of the gut lumen. Like, it should be staying in there, but when it gets out, your body will try to attack it because that's its job. So it's this whole thing. So I was telling her about that, and she agreed that was maybe what was going on. And then the rest of it, she doesn't think that I have a fundamental imbalance, which made me feel happy. I'm still gonna get a gut test because I think I've been just so curious, like, how far have I come? Like, what has the benefit been of all of the things that I've done for myself in the past 7 years after learning about this? And I know that when I get this done, it's only going to help me help my friends, family, and clients more thoroughly. guys are really going to enjoy that. To see what like, somebody who is walking through the test, and, you know, maybe it will help you see the value and understand if you want to do that yourself. Because for me, I've been pretty healthy. I haven't needed medication or doctors really, but then this past year I've been starting to feel some fatigue here and there, and so there's a question about, you know, is what I've done for weight loss, is that making me tired, and is it the gut, is it, you know, a B vitamin methylation issue? So we're going through all of it. We're going to find out what it is, because I always do. Then I'm going to tell you guys about it, because that's what I always do. And yeah, I think it'll be so nice to understand what it is that's going on. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing how I feel after this nutritionist visit. And I'm gonna see her a bunch of times and make the progress that I'm looking forward to making. And sometimes the people that need help are the ones who are helping others, and you have blind spots as a professional sometimes, because you learn things and you experience things that are true, but then it sometimes hardens your way of seeing things differently. And so I want to get out of that stubborn place and make sure that I'm actually continuing to try new things and be moldable and be flexible. So excited for it. You guys, hope you have a wonderful day. Consider subscribing, liking this video if you related to any of it, and share with me how your weekend was. I'd love to hear how you're doing, and if you feel restored today. Today feels like Monday, even though it's a Tuesday. It'll be a different day when this video is uploaded, though, probably like Wednesday or Thursday or something. But you guys have a good one.